What's up, junkies? Welcome back in for another edition of Pigskin Junkies. Myself, Michael Larson, Big Brother Jared Larson, and Scott Panza here for NFL Week 15. Fellas, how we doing?
Doing fantastic.
Almost over.
Yeah. But we got Saturday football starting next weekend, though. So, not so bad.
See, Scott's happy for his Saturdays coming up. Jared and I depressed because our Saturdays are over. And
you're not just so juiced for bowl season?
No.
I'm juiced for New Year's Eve, but
Yeah, I was gonna say there's like 2 weeks of just garbage, and then it does get good there for a little while.
Mm-hmm. Army Navy's
Cheez-It
next
Bowl.
week.
Army Navy's tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow? Okay. I can never remember
10
if they
and a
take
half.
like a week off. Or...
I'll give out a winner right now for the listeners early. Army. Get it. It's 3:00 Eastern. Kick. Log into the account. Click, 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 click. Army plus 10.5.
Well, everyone's marching out there. Just put the picks in.
Yep. And there's been like 1,900 in a row unders in this game, so I'll probably bet the over. just blindly.
This is one of those games I'll probably end up betting the coin toss because I just got nothing else to do.
We've reached that point of the year.
It's like I have to bet, and I don't know what I'm going to do it. So that's our 2 seconds of college football.
Just wait till you're firing the Cheribundi Bowl on like a Thursday afternoon, 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock kick.
Central Michigan versus like FAU.
Bored at the office,
You're like,
just twitching.
Who are these people? Yeah.
I couldn't name one player.
As I said, that's usually my barometer. If I can name 3 players, then I can bet it, but otherwise, you leave it alone.
So we'll have our bowl pick'em stuff coming out here. Hopefully, Jared and I will get together.
It'll be this weekend.
Yeah, it'll be out there.
Because the first game's next Friday, so we'll have you guys. It will be ready for. If you want to do it, tune in to the recap show, and we'll have details in addition to.
It'll be full launch.
Pinned on Twitter. Yep.
On the line. So, fellas, it is sadly week 15. Ravens already covered Thursday Night Football. Scott had that on his little legger. His Sunday, his prime time parlay. Is that what we're calling it?
It's the Monday,
Teaser.
Thursday, Sunday 3-team 10-point special teaser.
Teaser.
Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. I was going to say prime time
Right
parlay would sound a lot better, but I guess prime time teaser, I guess, is what we'll call it.
Yeah.
Primetime parlay is actually I kind of like that. It has a nice jingle to it.
Jared just loving the jingle with the holiday season.
Wonka Vader. I mean, I came up with Wonka Vader. I'm the marketing guru on this podcast.
I'm the one who just said the primetime parlay.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I recognize greatness. Game recognized game.
Okay,
That was good.
That's
It just runs in the Larson blood there. I think that's what's taking it away.
So we'll dive right into it, and that is a wonderful matchup, and I'm actually shocked by this. And it is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers laying 3 on the road in the Motor City.
The poor Motor City Kitties. They lost Marvin Jones Jr. this week to IR. So pretty much you have David Blau, third string undrafted rookie free agent from Purdue, chucking it up to Babytron Galladay and nobody else. Kerryon Johnson still out. So it's going to be tough sledding for the Lions. They can't run the ball against this Bucs rush defense. Jameis, unfortunately, is going to be good for, 2 interceptions, 5 touchdowns, but even he lost Mike Evans. So I lean Buccaneers. I will probably have a small taste on them, but this was not a super selection. This was not. I think I had one entry, Bucs and Circa, but it's Bucs or bust right now with this Lions with all the injuries piling up. But I can't trust Jameis right now in the gold with 3 weeks left.
So Scott, I was reading your recap this morning, which is an instant read as soon as it hits my inbox. And I am in my fantasy football playoff semifinal this week, and very proud of myself, despite very little effort. I found out that Marvin Jones, who is on my team and has had quite a nice year, via your email that he was out. So I think I picked up somebody on the Bears. Anyways, more on that later. Because I looked, it's a ESPN league, so I looked at the preview. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm projected to have like 86 points. Like, what is going on? But I don't remember what it was, and I think I had. Anyways, I had Ingram last night, so that was good for me. But
nice.
As it pertains to the matter at hand, this is precisely what I have talked about all year. Jameis Winston laying 4.5 points on the road. 0% chance they get any of my money. I will probably back the Fighting David Blouse here, and we'll wait a little bit closer to kick because I think you'll see a pretty large slug of money come in on the Bucks. So I'm hoping to get a 5, 5.5, maybe even a 6 by kick. As Micah alluded, this is, I think, 3 or 3.5 in some of the contests. And I'm looking out there now and see 4.5 pretty much across the board. So I think this one's going to keep going. And I will be Jameis Winston. I heard this on a podcast earlier this week. It is probable that Jameis Winston will lead the league in yards, touchdowns, and interceptions and be a free agent.
Incredible.
That's so
what
hard
a stat
to do. Yeah. So I don't disagree with anything Scott said in terms of David Blau, tons of injuries on the Lions, friend of the podcast, El Jefe included. But and this is, for me, this is Lions or pass.
Jared with a hard 0 in there, maybe. Flashback to Animal House. Mr. Plutarski. 0.0.
Yeah, that's the chances that I have a Tampa Bay Buccaneers ticket in my pocket this weekend.
Jared, remember when you tried to jump on the Bucks bandwagon for like a month? You're like, I'm a Bucks fan now. Just.
Well, I was now I'm back on the Vikings bandwagon for at least a couple more weeks.
That's true. Big game.
And then they'll get in the playoffs, and then they're definitely losing this week. More on that later.
Next up, Eagles laying 4.5, traveling to the nation's capital. How are we feeling about these Eagles, who are somehow tied for? And that division is so bad.
I despise these Eagles. Every bit of them. Alshon Jeffrey just hit the IR. Nelson Aguilar are going to be out this game. They are signing guys off the practice squad. So we have the benefit of recording this on a Friday because it's hashtag holiday party season. And the Redskins are in. I have them just littered throughout all entries, gold, super contest, and just cash like crazy. And it makes me want to puke to bet on Dwayne Haskins. But this is another spot that the Eagles shouldn't be laying so many points with the way their offense is chugging along right now. I actually think that the Redskins defense is being a little overlooked. They're playing some good football the past few weeks. They held Aaron Rodgers to 20 points last week. So you just need Dwayne Haskins not to be just a total mush face, and they should cover this 4.5 number. So I really like the spot for the Redskins. I mean, they're playing with some fight. So give me the Skins in division getting more than a field goal.
Don't be a mush.
Absolutely a non-zero chance that Dwayne Haskins is a total mush, though. that cannot be ignored. You look at like the Eagles' injury situation, and it is brutal. I mean, they got me and Micah and you running around out there, wide receiver, which is tough. But
I'd pay money to watch you run around. I'd pay money now.
I'd pay money to have someone like turn around and hand it off to you to just run up the gut and see what happened. This thing stinks to me. This line is so short. I mean, it's crazy to think what this line would have been look ahead in like week 4, and to see it 4.5 seems odd to me. But the Philadelphia team that you see on the field is not the Philadelphia team that I think many people anticipated would show up this year. So I'm not really interested in laying 4.5 on the road in division, but I want no part of this Redskins team either. So it'll be a pass for me.
Next game on the docket, big for my Vikings, but they're not playing in it. And that is the Pack at home -4 taking on the Bears.
I was really excited about Bears earlier in the week. I've kind of tapered off that expectation just because it's going to be 15 degrees at kickoff. And I know they're a cold weather team, but something about 4-degree weather and Mitchell Trubisky, I just can't back them. I think I have him in one of my entries. I think I have him in my Super Contest entry. I took the Bears. I do like them getting more than a field goal against the Packers. I actually think that Trubisky and Crew are starting to find their rhythm on offense. I'm tempered my excitement from earlier in the week. I like the Bears. I definitely have already booked some action on them, but the weather has me a little bit more concerned.
MVP Trubisky back in action.
I think Nagy
MVP.
I think Nagy just quit being such like a stubborn asshole and was like, okay, this guy sucks. How do I maximize what he's got? And he's a good enough coach that he can do that. I'm all over the Bears. It did not quite make Wonkavator, but I've watched enough Green Bay. They're pretty weak up front, and I think they're weak up the middle. And I think as a consequence, I think that the weather plays right into that. I think the Bears are going to control the clock. I think there's going to be a lot of Mitchell Trubisky running and a lot of David Montgomery between the tackles. So I think this is going to be a low, ugly scoring, divisional grindhouse. And as a consequence, I will take the Bears and think that they can keep – best defense for them will be long, sustained drives. I think they can do that by running the ball up the middle and keeping Aaron Rodgers off the field. So I'll take the 4 in division here. Remember, they played to like a 7-3 or 6-3 something at the beginning of the season. So this is a revenge spot for the Bears as well.
God, that game was
gross.
Yeah, it was not fun to watch. And like you said, Scott, it's going to be, 5 degrees?
10.
10 degrees. Oh,
but
I was thinking of playing Trubisky in my semifinals, but then I looked at the weather and it's got me spooked. So now I'm deciding between Kirk Cousins against the Chargers and Eli Manning. In the fantasy semifinals.
That's a brutal. We'll talk about it later. I feel like it's just different too. You got a cold game at Lambeau or you got a cold game at Soldier Field. When you think about cold games, you just think about the Packers. I feel like, Lambeau Field, it's like there's no way they lose a game. Bears.
The Packers.
Bulls.
Bears,
Bulls, sausage. Next up, Pats -9.5 traveling to the old Cincinnati Bungles.
Everyone in the world is going to back the Pats this week off 2 straight losses, but I will not be booking much action on them, if any. They'll be in teasers because they're going to beat the Bengals, but this is a large number, and their offense hasn't shown that they are worthy of laying such a number. This is a laying 9.5 based on reputation alone. Bengals defense has actually been looking pretty good the past few weeks, so I'm curious to see what the Pats go out there and show them. Realistically, the defense should win this game and score 2 touchdowns by themselves in this one against Andy Dalton and a terrible offensive line versus a great pass rush for the Patriots. No action on this one in any contest. Pats should lay the lumber, but who knows right now with the way they're playing.
Before you go, Jared, I do have a Scott question.
Yeah.
So betting aside, what do you? Because I think the offense is definitely a question. So we're going to take this from a gambling show to a podcast to just a quick X's and O's. To you, as a fan watching all these games, what do you see as the difference? Is it Gronk? Is it? What's the thing that's missing?
It's the offensive line. It's the offensive line not giving Brady any time back there in the pocket, and none of these routes can develop. I think if he had time, he'd get these guys going a little bit better. And also, the guys are just the rookies are dropping passes. Mm-hmm. And he just hasn't had enough time to play with Matt Lacoste and Ben Watson and Jacoby Myers and N'Keal Harry, and they're kind of learning on the fly. And they're learning against teams that are good teams that are giving them, you're the Super Bowl champs, and we're playing our A game today. So I think that much like last year, that they really struggled at times, and they just need a couple weeks here against some softer opponents to kind of find their way. And I think that's what you should see against the Bengals. Now, if they don't lay the lumber against them, then I think it's, not panic time, but it's, cause for concern time. So I'm excited to watch what they put out there, because this could just be like last year after they put a 10 spot on the road against the Steelers, and the world was crashing in, and then they just laid it to the Bills and laid it to the Jets the last 2 weeks, and they just kind of found their rhythm. But
got back in the warm blanket of the AFC East.
Yeah.
Like a nice snuggie.
So yeah, we'll see what they can put together here. But the offensive line needs to play better, and they haven't shown it this year, which is surprising, because all they've lost really is, aside from Isaiah Wynn for a few weeks, is David Andrews, an undrafted guy out of Georgia, but he's been the anchor of the offensive line for years now.
Yeah. So Jared, what do you think? Do you think the Red Rifle rides again?
Yeah, I'm going to be on the Bengals here. I have prognosticated now, going on 4 straight weeks, about how I've seen the Patriots' inability to move the ball on offense with any type of consistency. You're going to go on the road. I know Cincinnati's bad, but you're going to lay double digits. I think this team's way better with Andy Dalton. And guess what? I have a competent quarterback who, in garbage time, will very easily be able to have a chance to get inside this 10-point number. So I just, like Scott said, I mean, my plan is, you bet the Bengals. Look, if the Pats get 2 defensive touchdowns, which is well within the realm of possibilities, are they going to cover? Probably not, but I guess that's a risk that I'm willing to take. I agree with Scott. I'm not the dynasty is over, none of that nonsense, but Scott hit the nail on the head. And whether it's the offensive line or whatever, no rhythm from Tom Brady with any of his receivers. Edelman's the only guy out there, which, if he's the only guy, he's pretty easy to cover. I mean, this is the NFL. So the primary reason for a lot of his success previously was you had other people having success that allowed him to run underneath. But if he's the primary target, it's very easy to get him off his route tree. And then Tom either doesn't trust or doesn't know, or both, the myriad of names that Scott mentioned in terms of newer people. So it's just, again, they continued to struggle moving the ball up and down the field. And if you're going to do that, I don't have any interest in laying 10 points on the road. So it's bungles or pass for me. But the tidal wave of Pat's money line, Pat's teaser, is going to be of biblical proportions that the books will take this week.
Every which way.
It's everything.
You're going to need.
All kinds
you're going to be
ways.
feeling like if you bet the Bengals in this game, like you just ate some Skyline chili, 2 helpings of it, and you need some Pepto. That's how you get through this game.
My stomach's
That's it. This
gurgling.
is not. Yeah, you bet it and then open your app up at 4:00 and see where you're at.
Set it and forget it.
Hope that it's somewhere between 16 and 0, and the Bengals get the ball, and you're like, okay, let's do this.
Gross. Next up, the battle of, correct me if I'm wrong, the only teams that start with the letter T in the NFL, and that is the Texans taking on the Titans in the great state of Tennessee. The Titans -3.
I love how you went there with the starts with T and not
The alliteration. Jeez, yeah.
battling it out for the AFC South. So
Or the
I think
Oilers
Texans
title.
here. This is gonna be one of the most popular plays in the Super Contest, so it's a fade for me. Derrick Henry out of practice all week. Of course, he says he's going to play, but that's got to be a cause for concern for the Titans. Their defensive backfield is awfully leaky, and Deshaun Watson just got embarrassed by Drew Lock last week. So I think this is a great bounce back spot for the Texans, and it pains me to bet against my boys on Tennessee, but this is giving me the 3. Not a Super Contest play just because of where I am at in the standings and the popularity this will be. But Texans super juicy in this spot. They should. If you like points, this one's gonna have oodles of them.
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, because I'm with you, Scott. I think a lot of the consensus is forming around the Texans, which is perplexing to me, and I feel like the American public has come quite a long way in terms of how they bet, because you watch the Texans get the doors blown off them last week. Mm-hmm. Tennessee beats Oakland by 3 touchdowns. Historically, this would have been a game where I think you'd have seen a lot of money on the Titans, and that has, at least to the people that I talked to, has not been the case. So I kind of like the Titans here. Excuse me, the Texans, mainly just as a function of, and by the way, this is our stock AFC South home team -3 game of the week, and I think this is I think this game can go in either direction.
So I feel like
it's a true coin toss. Yeah, it's a fugazi, it's fugazi, it's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust, and I'll take the Texans and the points, but that'll be a cash play for the purposes of the contest. Nothing, because of all the reasons that Scott mentioned. I got to make moves, and this is going to be a pretty bunched up game.
Got to make money moves. Next,
we're going to be digging deep into the ugly ones for me to make moves. Lions, Bengals. It's going to be disgusting.
Oh my! Next up, Seahawks at home, Seahawks on the road to Ron Rivera, Cam Newton lists. How long ago were they in the Super Bowl? 4 years, 5 years?
Was it 15?
15.
And now they're out. They're starting quarterback and head coach from that team. Just tells you how quick life happens, folks.
Life comes at you fast in the NFL. I was listening to Blake Bortles on Part of My Take this week, and just 2 years ago he was starting quarterback in the AFC Championship, and now he's the backup in LA. Life comes at you fast.
And you're still riding behind Jared Goff, who's having
now he's sniffing McVay's jockstrap.
And the Jags are about to have to reboot their entire franchise.
Yeah, exactly. Tom Coughlin's going to bring in Eli Manning. Just watch. But anywho, Seahawks -6.5 traveling to the great state of North Carolina.
I mean, the Seahawks should just run all over this Panthers team that's just been gouged on the ground for weeks now, and they've just giving up so many points. It sure seems like they've all given up on the season, and they've lost the locker room, and tears for Ron Rivera. So everything points to the Seahawks, but it's a huge number for them to be laying on the road. 10 a.m. body clock, all that fun stuff. I'm staying far away from this one, but I would lean Seahawks.
Yeah, pass as well. I don't know if the Panthers have quit or not. I also read all those same reports about the Panthers and players not happy about Ron Rivera getting canned. And obviously there's going to be some pink slips served in Carolina, in Charlotte here in the span of a couple weeks. So I think people are starting to look around there. That being said, I've said it multiple times on this podcast. Seattle Seahawks are not a team that I'm interested in laying a touchdown on the road with. Russ Wilson, fantastic, awesome, will get a lot of our money on this show when he is a short road favorite and or dog, and then potentially some of the shorter home numbers, which you don't see too much anymore given their home field advantage. But this is not a number, so in terms of the team, of course, I love the Seahawks, but from a pricing perspective, no thank you. I would look to find a way to get some Seahawks into some 6-point teasers. Maybe with the Bills. Oh, I think I might go click on that actually right now on this show.
Next,
just had a stream of consciousness right there.
Just boom, just hot takes right there.
Just came to me.
Chiefs at home at Arrowhead -9 taking on Drew Lock and the Denver Broncos.
I'll go back to the well with the Broncos in this spot. I know that the Chiefs coming off the big Pats win, but Pat Mahomes banged up his hand in that game. They're battling through some injuries on their side, and Drew Lock has got this offense moving right along. So give me the team in division getting more than a touchdown, led by a defense and an offense that's rocking and rolling right now with the rookies. So I'll take the Broncos. I'll back Drew Lock. Not a super contest play, but definitely a cash play. I've already booked some action.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one, Scott. I think the Broncos, still not a huge fan of Vic Fangio as a coach, but they have played better than what their record indicates, in my opinion. Puked a couple games, and I think Drew Lock is the answer as compared to who they all have on their roster. So I think you'll see some 10.5. So if you can find them, grab them. Probably, I'm on the fence as to whether or not it'll be a contest play for me, just based on, again, some of the moves that I need to make. I'm trying to feel out some of that consensus still prior to locking the picks in.
The toilet bowl, if there ever was one in the NFL, and that is the Giants at home. This just feels weird. Giants laying 3.5 versus the Miami Dolphins.
Wonkavator pick of the week.
That means I gotta
this
watch
is
it.
The swan song for Eli Manning. Go out on top, if you will. Last game of his career, most likely in MetLife Stadium or Giant Stadium, whatever you want to call it. This is a beautiful spot for the Giants. Now, the Dolphins are just battling through so many injuries. They're down Devontae Parker to a concussion. They're down Jakeem Grant to a concussion. So pretty much Ryan Fitzmagic has Allen Hurns to throw passes to, a bunch of guys I've never heard of, and Patrick Laird as his undrafted free agent running back out of Cal. That's who they're going to go score points on against the Giants. I just don't buy it. I love the spot. Now, all the money's pouring in on the Dolphins because they've been covering numbers like crazy lately. But the Giants' offense should be laying massive amount of points against this Dolphins defense, who has no sense of a pass rush. They have injuries on the back end of their defense, and this is a time Eli Manning has all his weapons healthy, aside from Evan Ingram, who's now out again. But Darius Slayton, Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard, and Saquon Barkley, all healthy. If they can't lay a number against these Dolphins, Pat Shurmur don't show up for work on Monday, but I love the spot for the Giants. Swan song, Eli Manning, lay the 3.5. In live markets, it's all the way down to 3, which is just incredible. So I booked it at 3.5. I'm booking it at 3. I love the Giants this weekend.
Pass. No further comments. I don't know. I don't know, man. If you can find an angle in this one, go for it. No thanks. Pass.
I wish I had like a stampede sound effect I could find, and I would start playing it right now. Because are the wagons going to be circled as the Bills travel to Pittsburgh, getting 2.5?
Oh, I love it. So Bills, second favorite pick of the weekend. They really battled the Ravens tight last weekend, and I was really impressed with the defense containing Lamar Jackson. So now you have Duck Hodges coming to town. Steelers going to be down Juju Smith-Schuster again. So all Duck Hodges has done is just bombs up to James Washington, Deontay Johnson, while the Bills' secondary lies in their secondary. The Bills' strength lies in their secondary. And
the secondary is in the secondary.
The standard is the standard. Yeah. So I love this spot for the Bills because they should not let Duck Hodges score more than 10 points on them, and Josh Allen is good for more than 10 points against the Steelers defense. That has just been a really incredible and an awesome coaching job from Mike Tomlin this year. But I just love the Bills in this spot. So I'm scooping the points, and I'm booking it money line.
Ooh. I mean, yeah, duh. I'm taking the Bills. I actually have an interesting question for you, Scott. Your opinion, fantasy-wise, because the Steelers' defense is good. I have Josh Allen on my fantasy team. I also have Matt Ryan on my fantasy team, and it's a tough decision because I feel like Matt Ryan may throw the ball 60 times, housed by the Niners. And I don't know. It's a perplexing choice.
I've been fielding similar questions from a lot of my friends, and I've responded with, is Mitch Trubisky or Eli Manning on your waiver wire? Pick them up and play them. I don't like Josh Allen, and I play Josh Allen over Matt Ryan, but I don't think this is this game, given the total and the pace and the type of game that I expect this to be, a great spot for Josh Allen to be your quarterback in the playoffs. I think his floor is quite low and his ceiling isn't so high. So I was faced with the same question, so I dropped Josh Allen, and it pained me, and I picked up Eli Manning. And it makes me want to puke. It makes me want to puke. I think that's the play this weekend.
Ooh.
All right. You could be hearing me on the recap pod talking about what a dum-dum I am because I did this, but that's how I'm going to roll.
Jeez. So I have till Sunday, obviously, to make that choice, but it was interesting to me.
I want to sound clip that. Pick up Trubisky or Eli Manning on your waiver wire?
Yeah.
What?
Sicko.
Yeah. You get a cyanide pill come served with both of those pickups. Just in case something goes wrong.
Yeah.
Holy Hanukkah. I'm going to be on the Bills here. As I said, I'll probably be having them in quite a few teasers up and through the key number of 7. I did, while Scott was talking, go click, 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 Seahawks and Bills teaser. I really like where those numbers are at. Probably not going to be a play in the contest for me, just again based on clumping, and I think there's some other places where I can make a move, and we're up to the last couple weeks here, but I will definitely be on the Bills come Sunday night.
Because nobody.
No.
Circles
Nobody.
the wagons.
Like the Buffalo Bills.
Next up, Chucky at home. This has got to be one of the last games in Oakland, isn't it?
It is.
It is the last game in Oakland. Yep. Raiders minus 6.5 versus the Jacksonville Soft J Jaguars.
Yeah, I mean, this sure seems like the Jaguars have quit, but the Raiders have lost 3 straight games by 21 points or more. So it's a massive number. I think it's going to be extremely popular because everyone's going to be on the narrative that it's Raiders' last home game. A lot of points to lay for a team that can get torched on the defensive side. But DJ Chark is out for this game for the Jags. They've looked terrible. I will not get behind the Jags, but I can't get behind the Raiders laying this big of a number. I think it's a little bit inflated, so pass.
Prediction after this game, John Gruden is going to trade for Gardner Minshew to be the quarterback of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh.
Because he's going to be so impressed with watching him run around and just chucking it all over the yard. I'm with Scott. I think this is going to be narrative town USA, last thing in Oakland, blah, blah, blah. I mean, yes, the crowd makes a difference, but not enough to have them lay an additional, in my mind, 3 or 4 points. I mean, the Raiders are better than the Jags, yes, no doubt. And have the Jags quit? I don't know, but I'll be passing on this game, but I could see this one. I could see this number getting out of hand with public dollars pretty quickly, and I'd probably buy on the Jaguars if it gets up into the 8 or 9 range.
The mustache.
American hero.
Big time.
Next, the Cleveland Browns traveling to the Arizona Cardinals. Browns minus 2.5. Is Odell? So we'll go 2.5. And is Odell Beckham wearing a Browns jersey next season?
Do you think Cliff Kingsbury just laughs when he looks at Freddie Kitchens like, man, you are just a total mess of a human being?
He probably laughs when he looks at Vegas Dave.
Yeah.
Hey-oo.
Yeah, I mean, I won't get behind either one of these teams. I think, to your point, Micah, I do not think that Odell is in a Browns jersey next year. I think he's just itching to get out of town. Not a good fit, and they got some cap issues, I'm sure, coming up over there in Cleveland. So I think he'll be gone. I don't want either part of either one of these teams. Cardinals haven't shown me much the past few weeks, and I don't trust Freddie Kitchens laying points on the road. So pass.
Yeah, no chance either of these teams are getting my money. I mean, that's the Cardinals. If they're going to give me double digits, I'll probably be on them because they've come through like 6 back doors for me this year. But this is 3 points. This is not enough to come through the back door. And the Cleveland Browns, again, 0.0, Mr. Blutarski, that I'm going to lay points with Freddie Kitchens on the road. I mean, what does ODB or Obijote do next year? ODB is the old dirty bastard, the rapper. Oh, Micah, who's the guy that died?
Juice WRLD.
Juice Box.
Juice Box. Don't disrespect my guy like that now, okay?
So Scott, this is where I texted my Mike and Becca, my sister, last week, and I was like, I've reached full dad status. I have no idea who this guy is. First time hearing about him is like trending on Twitter that he died. Like, who is this guy? And they're like, oh, you don't know who this is? Like, listen to this and this and this and this and this and this. I'm like, I'm old now. I'm old.
Yeah,
sad, very, very sad.
I had no idea who this guy was either. Never heard of him.
It was.
And
Just,
I think I'm cool and hip, but apparently not.
Juice WRLD was one of the leading guys in the whole like sad rap guys.
Whatever that's
he was good. I like him.
Yeah.
What's sad rap?
Exactly right.
Is that like emo rap? Or
Essentially, it's like
cool?
emo and rap kind of like had a one night stand and it came out.
Oh man.
Yeah, you and me both, Scott. It's way
Just
way out
listen
of
to
it.
it. It's good.
So,
There's so many
maybe that's
subgenres
what-
now since you guys were, listening to your Walkmans.
I was gonna say there was this thing called the internet that made that all possible.
Yeah, you guys were both on
so-
LimeWire, weren't you?
Oh, definitely, dude. Kazaa, all of them. Obejote. Maybe he'll be rapping next year. Who knows? Who cares?
Off the rails.
Yeah,
Off the rails.
The show's way off the rails at this point. It's late. We're getting into it. I just don't. It's organizational dysfunction. It's like the Jets. They just can't be good for prolonged periods of time. You can't. It's like a child. You can't give them nice things because they just ruin them.
See, in Pittsburgh,
That's
that's all you got? I was like waiting for you to continue and you just kind of stopped. Can't give them nice things. There you have it. So this comes back to the whole Matt Ryan conversation. 49ers, Shanahan taking on his old team, where the last time he played him was against Scotty's Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Loved it.
Which I know Scott's super happy I could find a way to work that game into
Thank you, Micah.
Of course.
Well done. I booked Niners in this game. I just think that the pass rush of the Niners should get after Matt Ryan, whose offensive line has been letting him down all season. Down Calvin Ridley, so they're relying on a banged-up Julio Jones, a banged-up Devonta Freeman, a banged-up Austin Hooper to try to score against this 49ers staunch defense. Now, the concern with the Niners is that Dee Ford out for this game, Richard Sherman out for this game, so a little bit of bad injury luck as they head into the playoffs, not exactly ideal. Also, this little stat has me concerned a little bit from my man BZ. Jimmy G, 1-5-1 as QB of the Niners when favored by more than 6 points against the spread. So 1-5-1, not exactly great. All other instances, he's 11-2-1 against the spread with the Niners. So some bad trends there. So I will caution you if you're into the trends game. But I think this Falcons team is just that. I think that Shanahan's just going to want to lay it to them and cross-country travel for the Falcons. Season's over, blah, 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 blah. I'll lay the 10.5.
Blah, blah, blah,
Dee
blah.
Ford.
Yeah.
Dee Ford.
Hi, I'm Dee Ford. War Eagle.
I'm Dee Ford. That's Dee Ford went to Auburn. Scott, the guy was a beast. I'm with Scott here. The defensive line of the Niners is going to put quite a bit of pressure on the Falcons O-line. Matt Ryan has shown a significant propensity, primarily on Thanksgiving night, to throw interceptions when under really any amount of pressure, and his 7 knee braces that he runs around in. So that's from a fantasy perspective. Personally, if I can be selfish for a minute, is just that I don't. He's going to be, they're going to be down significantly. Obvious passing downs, significant pass rush, no time. I mean, I feel like we're beating the dead horse here, but like I look at this roster of skill players. Devonta Freeman, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, like how are they not scoring 100 points a game? That the offensive line is the only plausible reason that they are not just an offensive juggernaut. So I'm going to pass. I think this is another one that the line could get out of control. It's the late window, and the Falcons haven't shown anybody anything, and candidly have burnt quite a few bettors this year. So I'll pass. If we see a 14, I'll probably nibble at the Falcons, but that's it.
Yeah, so that on the card for Super Contest is 10.5 for the 49ers. I also forgot to mention Bills Steelers is the Sunday night matchup. But anywho, quick poll question between you two. Which Bosa would you rather have, Nick or Joey?
I think I'm taking Nick.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think that's a trifecta. We're going with Nick. Next up on the docket, big game. Once again in the NFC East, Cowboys at home, but Rams laying a point.
Oh my goodness, this is you want to talk about tsunami of money. A tsunami of money is coming in on the Rams. 85% of bets on the Rams. I see no reason to back the Cowboys in this spot, but I will not be taking it in the Super Contest. I will be taking it in cash, but I probably will be rooting against my own money because I think it's going to be everyone's going to be on the Rams, and for contest purposes, I'm going to want the Cowboys to cover. But I just don't see any way that they do. Unless they just they get after Jared Goff in a little bit of a look-ahead spot because they got the Niners coming to town next week. So maybe the offensive line lets down Jared Goff and the Cowboys can sneak this one out at home. But I could not get behind this Cowboys team right now.
Yeah, I can't either. I mean, I'll do you a service. If you're going to play this game, it's Cowboys or pass.
And last but not least, my Minnesota Vikings traveling to San Diego, LA, to take on the wonderful Chargers. I think Phillip Rivers has as many kids as many Chargers fans will be in the stands for this game. But Vikings minus 2.5. Yeah, exactly.
Will only be the Rivers family cheering on this Chargers team. Back to reality spot for the Chargers. I think that the Vikings are going to lay it thick on them. This is a game that got flexed out of Sunday Night Football because everyone wanted to see Bill Steelers and that 35 over-under score fest that they're going to see. But I love the Vikings in this spot. Now, the spread's moving down. Contest is at 2.5. I see a 1.5 out there for the Vikings. So I'll keep buying it down because I think that the public market is overreacting to Chargers last week's victory, and Kirk Cousins is going to go lay it on these Chargers.
Ooh. Weather in Minneapolis on Sunday, high of 10, low of negative. No, it's wrong week, wrong day. 0.
Wrong week.
How many people from Minnesota will be at this game? I want to know what the split is. Like it might be 80-20 Vikings fans. And Micah, they are your Minnesota Vikings this week because I will be on the Chargers. I think speaking of Joey and Nick Bosa, I think you're going to get quite a bit of pressure on Kirk Cousins, and if we have seen him be unsuccessful, it is under precisely one set of conditions, and that's when he doesn't have time to stand back and stay clean and deliver his 4-yard slant routes to wide receivers. So I think the Charger defense is going to really get up for this game and get in his grill and be kind of all over him. I would have loved this game to be in primetime because then we would have got primetime cookie, but unfortunately we're not going to get that. So, I mean, look, I've dumped so much money betting these stupid Chargers in these spots constantly, and so I'll just go back to the well and do it again. I see it's just such a Minnesota spot to go out here and lose this game. I've seen it so many times before, and I tried not to be like completely cynical. I feel like Michael will back me up on that, but you just see these spots with this team, and it's like this is the one. And then they'll go to Green Bay and win in Week 17, but it's like they'll lose this one, and then they'll have to win that.
That's in Minneapolis.
In Minneapolis, so same thing. They'll win like the huge divisional game that they have to, and then they'll go out here and just puke it against a team they should probably beat.
It's just great because the last Week 18, you look at the Bears, and you're like, they're like 3 weeks ago. It's like, the Bears didn't really even matter. They're done. Now it comes into it where the Bears could just screw the Vikings season. Phenomenal. You just love to see it as a Vikings fan.
It's gonna happen.
Well, Scott, I appreciate your support. I do. I needed it.
I love it. Love it.
I had 2 near Wonkavaders this week.
2 near Wonkavaders? Do you want to claim those, or you want to just keep them like Augustus Gloop and leave them stuck in the chocolate tubes?
Yeah, I gotta believe that it's. I mean, it takes a lot of confidence to get in an elevator that goes all kinds of different ways.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Those are just normal up and down elevators. They're just.
I just got in the elevator.
Yeah, I just got in the elevator and went to the.
I don't feel like taking the stairs. Well, I love it, fellas. How's it looking in your in the fantasy league for you guys?
Best ball. I still hold the commanding lead. It'll be a Herculean effort for anyone to catch me, just because it ends on week 16. So so only 2 weeks to catch up with 70 points. So looks like I'll be winning going away. So I will not be handing out the free cashish for first prize. So someone's gonna have to come earn it in the pool bowl pick'em.
Ooh.
Even I will get
over.
in.
Scott, you finished like top 8, I think, last year, if I remember correctly.
I think I actually got really lucky, and I think I came pretty close to you guys, but I was nowhere near La Pienne. La Pienne.
Yeah, that's right.
Le Bien.
The pen.
Yeah. Still don't remember how to say that guy's name.
Love it. Well, fellas,
He crushed. That dude was like, he picked like 80%.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, you did.
Against the spread too, so that's the big thing too. It's not just like who's going to win; it's against the spread.
Yeah.
Which I'm very excited.
If you're in those, you should quit that and do ours instead.
Got to get the quijones
Yeah.
to that one. The huevos. So, anywho, thanks again, Junkie, so much for tuning in. Once again, I'm Michael Larson. That's Jay Larson and Scott Panza. Really appreciate it. Continue to rate, review, subscribe on iTunes, and follow on Twitter. We really appreciate it. Enjoy the weekend of football. Once again, we'll have the bowl pick'em stuff coming up on the recap show. Hope you crush it with your bets, and hope we mostly crush it with our bets, and you just follow suit and do our bets. So
Yeah.
hang in there, Junkies. We'll see you next time.
Andrew, name it.
What?